The CFPB is here to stay. And this is really important because, it's all about a level playing field. The CFPB is out there fighting. Every time somebody gets cheated by a bank, every time somebody gets tricked by a mortgage company, the giant banks really don't like that the CFPB is out there, and their Republican friends help them in attacking the CFPB.
Democratic Senator Elizabeth Warren speaking to Bloomberg about her brainchild, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, back in May. Now, fast forward to this morning, and Elon Musk, who has been tapped to run the new Department of Government Efficiency, is calling for the elimination of the agency. Joining me now for more here on Balance of Power is Bloomberg Intelligence's Nathan Dean. So, Nathan, Elon Musk says the CFPB should be quote unquote deleted. He and Vivek Ramaswamy are going to be on Capitol Hill speaking with lawmakers next week. Can they convince Congress to delete this agency?
No, I mean, in order to do away with an agency, it would take a bipartisan act of Congress. They couldn't even do it via the reconciliation process. So you're going to need at least 60 senators to agree to it, which is not going to happen. But what can happen is that President Trump will appoint a new director next year that could potentially decrease the size or the scope of the CFPB. In the prior clip, Senator Elizabeth Warren said the big banks hate the CFPB. Just recently, the CFPB put out a new rulemaking giving them authority over big tech. And that's always where the thought of where the CFPB has been going. And partly why I think Elon Musk is now interested in this is because the CFPB could start looking at big tech, but most likely as a result of the Doge Commission or the committee, if you will, President Trump could appoint a new director that actually opens up or loosens enforcement risk for the tech sector and shrinks the CFPB's actual authority or examination authority.
Well, there's also the matter of the fact that Elizabeth Warren, in that clip we just played, was speaking as a member of the Senate majority. In the next Congress, she will be a member of the minority. It will be Republican control of the Senate Banking Committee and the Financial Services Committee in the House. And I wonder if anything else legislatively, if that not outright elimination of the agency, but restraining of the agency could make its way into American law.
So this is where it's a little tricky for Congress because, there's been legislation to abolish the CFPB right now in the House. It only has 6 co-sponsors, so it's not going anywhere. But if you want to take back the CFPB's appropriations, for example, just remember, CFPB is not appropriated by Congress. It actually gets its funding through the Federal Reserve, and the Supreme Court held the constitutionality of that funding earlier this year. So the CFPB is somewhat protected from Congress via the appropriations process. So again, if you were going to try to restrict the CFPB somehow, you would need to get a bipartisan agreement to get past the filibuster. You need 60-some votes in the Senate. The Republicans are only going to have 53, so you need 7 Democrats to go along with it. Or you're going to have to start playing leverage games during government shutdown fights. And that's where I think a lot of this is going, maybe just outside of the CFPB in terms of Elon Musk and the Doge Committee, for example. A lot of this is going to be shutdown threats and stare downs over shutdowns where one side says we're going to defund it, the other side said doesn't. But ultimately for those firms that are under the CFPB's jurisdiction, the biggest change will come in the new director, whoever that may be, and their personal policies for 2025.
Nathan, I've just got 20 seconds here, but as you talk about funding, we have a funding deadline coming up in a few weeks. Is it going to be a continuing resolution or an omnibus that keeps the government open?
I think it's a continuing resolution to March, which is somewhat problematic for the president because you're going to have now a funding fight within the first 100 days of his presidency.
All right, Bloomberg Intelligence's Nathan Dean, thank you so much, and a very happy Thanksgiving to you and yours. But